it foggy outside. All the planes have been grounded. Ain't the fire inside? Let's all go stand around it. Funny, I've been there, and you've been here. We ain't had no time to drink that beer.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Sandman Podcast. I am your host, Brian W. Tosh. As always, I am joined by our resident hack checker, Oliver Fullington.
You.
Our producer and co-host, El Hilo del Hack, Tyler Fullington. And the man whose stories got stories, the hardcore icon, the man whose dark side of the ring is what everyone is talking about, the Sandman. Hack, how the hell's it going?
What up? I'm feeling great.
Hack, I know everybody out there has watched the Dark Side of the Ring episode that aired on Tuesday. What an incredible episode it was. I know that I am certainly biased knowing you and doing the show with you, but I think it was probably one of, if not the best Dark Side of the Rings that they've ever done. I thought it was just an amazing episode. I do have a couple issues with it, but we'll get to those in a minute. First here, I think I'd be doing a disservice to our audience and everybody else if we didn't talk about what I consider to be the most important parts of the episode, and that I think would be your ex-wife Lori and Kelly and Ty and you guys talking about some of the dark stuff. Certainly uncomfortable, but I don't think we can avoid the elephant in the room. I think we do have to talk about it. I want to say too that watching it afterwards, I was taken to a story I remember hearing about Martin Scorsese and Raging Bull, a movie about Jake LaMotta. And Jake LaMotta attended the premiere with his ex-wife. And he turned to her after the movie and he said, was I really that bad? And she said, you were worse. So, I just had to ask you, Hack, how do you...
The same way as him. It was way worse than they portrayed it.
Yeah,
way worse. I was a monster for a while.
I know that, Hack, and I don't know how to break it all down and talk about it. I just want to say to any women out there that are dealing with situations like that, do what Lori did.
Get away.
Get away. That was the best thing that she ever did, and I don't say that to disrespect you or anything like that, but she made the right decision for her family and for herself, and I'm happy to see that you're not that monster today, and that period of your life, is that period, and you don't run from your past.
Now you have to embrace it, because you wouldn't be here if it wasn't for your past, and I'm pretty happy right now where I'm at. So whatever had to happen to get me here, like being in prison, whatever, I'm still me today, and I'm happy.
Yeah, no, and I know that, and I know that you're involved in your kids' lives, and you do have some semblance of a relationship and everything. But walk me through, like, making amends for some of that past that you had.
I don't know. You gotta make amends to yourself. You know what I'm saying? It took a while for that. And it was way after when the facts were actually happening. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I just want you to know too, like, don't beat yourself up for it, and learn to forgive yourself as well, man. Ty, I gotta ask you, watching that and dealing with that directly, like, how has that affected you in your life?
It was definitely difficult at times. Now, I was a little bit younger than Kelly, and kudos to her. Kelly being my older sister, she actually tried to, like, hide me from that, like, a little bit. She, like, try and protect me, I guess, a little bit from some of the things that were going on, because she was a little bit older. It's tough when you're that young. Like, you don't really know what's going on. You're just seeing what you're seeing, and you're assuming that just happens all the time. But then as you get older, you realize that it doesn't always happen in every household. But like you said, at the end of the day, it is what it is. You move past it, and you just try and learn from your mistakes, and do a better job the next time.
Yeah, and I do want to say I thought Kelly was absolutely tremendous in the episode, as was Lori, and I thought you were as well, Ty. I thought, you guys really just told the story, and a lot of wrestlers out there, Hack.
That's what they were supposed to do.
Yeah,
It's the good, the bad, and the ugly.
Yeah.
You got to tell it all if you're going to have an episode. Like they put together. It's got to be like that.
And I think, wrestlers in general, and a lot of people try to hide things, and wrestlers love to present their version of the story. And Hack, you're not like most wrestlers. Most wrestlers are always working, and you're the opposite. You're always shooting. Like you are who you are. And
Tommy Dreamer always said after somebody's match, if you really want to know what happened in your match, go ask Hack. When he doesn't want to rip them,
right?
You know what I mean? He said, "Go ask Hack. He'll tell you how bad
No,
it was."
you
go
are,
talk to the Turk. Yeah,
you are incredibly forthcoming and honest, and about everything, whether it's the drugs or the bad or the good. And one of the things I liked about the dark side is that it really did touch on it all. It emptied it all out there. It showed you bare to the world. Hack, when you're watching it, how hard is it for you as a person to look into that mirror on your life like that?
I've already done it. They didn't show me anything that I didn't know already.
Okay, so you've already
made peace with it.
you've already been able to process it.
When I signed up to do the episode, I knew it was going to be like that.
Yes.
I mean, I'm smart. I've seen enough of those episodes.
Yes.
They start out this way, they middle it this way, and they kibosh you at the end, and then they give you a little retribution, whoever it is, in the last minute and a half or so.
Yeah, one of the things I loved in the episode, and I don't know if it was actually in the episode or it was a teaser they released, was the clip of you saying, "Tell them the fucking worst." Most people run from that, and one thing I want to say about you is you don't run from that. So I think that is commendable, actually. So,
and that's the one thing about like you said, other wrestlers or just other people in general. Like, what good comes from you lying or not being forthright with not only yourself but like other people? Like, if you say the worst about yourself, then nothing else can hurt you.
Yeah.
So like you just have to be honest with it and forthright with it, and then like let people judge it how they may. And you're your own worst critic, or you should be your own worst critic. You know what I'm saying? So as long as you take that and you would improve, then you shouldn't have to hide from anything.
yeah. No, getting into some of the other parts of the episode, man, it opened up with the Chippendale stuff, and this was a revelation for me. And guys, I gotta ask Oliver, I gotta ask Ty, Hack, the soliciting. I have to ask you, what in the world? What? I never knew this.
Hack was a gigolo.
Hack
It was the only way to make money.
How do you guys feel about
The only
this?
guys who were making real money, there was like 5 acts. There was the unknown comic. He would come out with that bag on his head like the Saints fans used to. And then they'd have a guy that was the barbarian, and then they'd have the perfect man that would come out of the spaceship at Pulsations. Those are the guys that were banking. Our job was there to get the women in line to go kiss them so they could give them money.
Okay, but how does that lead to you to then doing that?
It was organic. It kind of just really happened.
Yeah, Hack Bigelow.
Oh, because so many guys were leaving the place and screwing women. I'm like, well, why aren't we getting paid?
Okay, so it was just financial means for you. It wasn't, okay.
Yeah, it was totally a financial means.
All right.
I'm just shocked anyone paid to have sex with you.
Dude, you see how good looking I was back in the day, kid.
You should have been paying them.
Wow.
So some of them I would have.
So,
I would have paid. Absolutely.
I just was blown away by that, and
It was like 84 back then. It's not. The things were different back then.
So you're saying you would have had an OnlyFans today if it was?
I would have had a website.
I mean, like, out of all the things to start with, that's how the Dark Side of the Ring started, and I was like, man, this guy is just, how do I not know this? And that was just bizarre for me.
He's the Dos Equis guy. He's like the most interesting man on the planet. Like, you never know where the story's going to come from.
No, you really don't.
Like the one Tommy Dreamer told on XM Radio about me and
the Metallica story.
I don't remember that at all.
How do you not remember that?
at all?
I know, and he was telling me the story. I'm like, dude, I've never heard this story, so obviously you clearly don't remember.
So, guys, if you can, definitely check out Busted Open. They had Hack on Wednesday, and Hack told this amazing, or not Hack, I'm sorry, but Tommy Dreamer told this amazing story about Hack going onto stage with Metallica at the LA Coliseum, and Hack
being blacked out drunk.
Yeah,
But before that,
usual.
But the best part about the story is before that there was a cop there, and it was Chips was this big new thing that I was reading about. The cop knew who I was. Dreamer's like, he talked to him for a couple of minutes. Next thing you know, I'm giving him my big gulp full of vodka, and he's letting me ride his motorcycle around the parking lot. That's the only part of the story that I remembered. Once he started it, I remember riding the cops thing around, but I don't remember being in the stadium at all.
Yeah, people helping people, you know? That's what we're all about here.
Okay, so
That's just a joke.
one of the many things I've been seeing about feedback for the episode, besides some of the dark stuff, but the amount of people that were saying this could have been a two-parter, and I really do feel that way. I think one of the most difficult things when you're putting together these documentaries is trying to get somebody's life into 41 minutes for television.
Well, you can't. That's why they decided to break it down into this one angle. We got the ex-wife, we got Tyler, we got Kelly, we got Todd Gordon, we got Raven.
Yeah.
So that was the arc of their story.
Right.
Was the family issue.
They always have to find what story they want to tell of the stories, and that's the direction they went in. But in terms of your career and everything, there were so many things left out, and they just can't tell that in one documentary.
And I don't blame them.
No, I don't either. I thought they told your story of the story that they told really well and really honestly.
It had a nice ECW flavor to it,
I was
too.
gonna
That's
say,
what
they
I
did-
liked a lot.
Yes.
They did bring out the who's who of like guest panel with Todd and Sabu and RVD.
I've seen Sabu and RVD. They probably taped that over 14 months ago, maybe 15 months, because that's around when I did my taping. And neither one of them ever even told me that they talked to anybody about it.
That's kayfabe, baby.
It's true. It's true. I do want to get to two of the issues that I had with the episode, and not giant issues, because they did interview your friend, my friend's father, Rube. They did interview Ruben, and Ruben's interviews were not used in the episode. And I know, growing up with him as your friend, that was your buddy that you would go to the Spectrum shows with every single month. So, him not being in the episode to me was...
That's the start of the second episode.
Oh, you hear
Ruben,
that?
me
You hear
getting
that?
thrown out of Spectrum by
Well, it's like
Gorilla
you said,
Monsoon
they're
a
trying to
couple
find
times.
that story to tell, and
Yeah,
like
they
it
don't
might
have
have just
time
not.
for that.
It might have just not fit.
He got paid. That's all that counts.
Yeah, well, I'm just a dark side, guys. We want to see some Ruben clips. So I know you got that footage. Put out some of the Ruben
Yeah, but
clips
they're
out
going to
there.
put it out on when you go to the link and send you to James Bond or something.
We don't want to... But we've been seeing some technical difficulties. Vice, get your stuff together. Come on now. People are trying to watch Hack.
Nice. I like that.
Oliver, my other issue with the episode, and I know part of this is because of the fact that, you weren't of the age that both Kelly and Ty were for a lot of these events.
He wasn't even born. He wasn't born till '98. So
like a lot of it. So, them choosing to not interview you, I want to get your perspective here, because you weren't included in the documentary at all. How did you feel watching it, and what would you have said had you had the opportunity to be interviewed for the piece?
I have no idea what I would have said. I mean, it all comes down to what I would have been asked, I guess. And whatever they were talking about. I mean, I understand not being in the episode, considering I wasn't born yet. I mean, I know everything that happened. I mean, talking about bad, like the good, the ugly. I mean, I was still alive for when he was a little bit of a maniac. Still kind of is, but when you as you were growing up, so I was older, and then Hack and Mom were obviously getting divorced, so and then that obviously was something you could have they
talked
were
about,
never together. For the audience, they were never together when I don't remember them ever being together, really.
I just got reminded of a story now. Oliver was about 6 years old. I was still living at the Lawrence Roadhouse, and you would come over and stay with me, and we used to go to the park across the street.
Every day.
Yeah, but I would walk across the street with a big cup of vodka in my hand, the high on 80s. I would have snorted an 80 right before we went over there, and every day we went over there for a couple hours. I had a blast.
Riding cop motorcycles or
No, not with him on the back. We didn't have a helmet.
So, Hack, I do have to speak about the drugs and stuff as well. You know, the one thing, like, as a fan and then getting to know you, like, I would listen to shoot interviews and stuff, and a lot of times, you know, the stories would be, you know, funny. And I've heard Fonzie tell the his lips are turning blue daddy story a couple times, okay? And for me, those first couple times when I heard it were funny. And now this time when I heard it, it wasn't funny to me because it's the person I know, and I'm like, holy shit, you nearly died then. Like,
I probably was dead for a little bit.
You probably were, but like,
That's what flatline means.
yes.
Flatline means.
Thank you. Thank you.
But,
Dr. Hack. Yes.
Thank you.
I like Raven in the documentary says he told you not to do what you were about to do.
Absolutely, he did.
And he
I'm
did.
glad they got that.
He did. He told you not to do it. And, you know, when you're doing drugs with people and somebody like that is telling you, don't do this, and what I know you're not thinking.
I was snorting 580s a day at that point, every day, because I never shot anything before then. So I think shooting 180, no problem.
Well, and I also think it's part of just your personality. You're being
you're invincible anyway. at that
right.
point.
Feeling the rush.
Yeah,
of-
you're invincible.
Yeah, you're
Right.
the fucking Sandman. Like,
You're invincible.
Like, yeah.
Man, that was it. Just hearing that this time was scary for me. And the other part I have to ask about that story, at least, is your reaction when you were like, "Oh, I'm not telling my wife. There's no way I am." This is a little different than getting a receipt for a strip club or something that you're hiding from your wife. You're hiding from your wife that you went to the emergency room for this.
That you flatlined.
What, like, why?
The building come for 6 weeks, maybe 8 weeks later, so it had been a while. It wasn't a couple days. The bill came later.
Was that just your addiction taking over at that point for you to cover it up?
Well, there's no reason whatsoever, because she's hating me at this point anyway, because she knows that I'm a straight drug addict, you know what I mean? So the last thing I need to put in between me and her is me almost overdosing.
So what you're saying is you weren't ready to be honest with your addiction at that point?
Or her.
Or her?
Yeah.
So basically hiding it at that point, like, you just could not confront that then?
Yeah, because that was right after I left, because Rhino was driving the car. It was like one of his first... Guido told me this today.
Oh yeah, and then you said Rhino
Rhino was like freaking.
gets to the building. I think Tommy tells a story that Rhino gets to the building because Tommy was running the shows at that point. And Rhino's like all worked up, like crying. I'm like, I can't fucking do this anymore. I can't fucking drive with these guys anymore. Tommy's like, what the fuck happened?
He's been with us for 48 hours.
Right, he's like, I can't fucking do this anymore. Like, Sandman almost died. And Tommy's like, wait, what?
I don't blame
Well,
him.
I'm in the bathroom shooting a 40.
I don't blame him. He had normal human reactions then. Like, do you know what I mean? If this were one of my friends or coworkers, I'd be freaking out too, man. Like, that's not normal behavior.
Hack, I actually have a question about the receipt coming in. Like, I'm assuming it doesn't say like flatlined. Like you're getting a hospital receipt. Like, and she was like,
I never
"What's
looked at it.
Well,
That's her words, not mine.
Well, right, but she's obviously like, I have this hospital receipt. Like, what's this from?
Dude,
or,
I remember
like,
it was $8,000 and something dollars. That was what the bill was.
and she
I was there for like 2 hours.
and she just said, "What's this from?" And then you were like, "I gotta tell her now."
I
Or
don't
did you?
remember.
I was gonna say, did you
remember.
try
I just know when she pulled out, she got a bill from Indiana. I was like, "Oh shit!"
Oh, I had
Here
an
it
allergic
comes.
reaction. I had to go
Yeah,
to.
here it comes.
So, Hack, I got to ask you, too. A lot of times, the mentality is when it comes to the injuries and when it comes to everything else in the business is to just keep going. Why is it that someone like you, who at this point, who was very established and you weren't going to lose your spot, you're the Sandman. If you get off that roller coaster for a bit to fix yourself, whether it's for injuries or to get right. But why is the
You
mentality?
live to be in the ring at this point. You're loving it so much. That's all you want.
So-
it's that drug. You're chasing that high with all those drugs.
So you're saying that high was the number one high of?
Absolutely.
Oh man, that's
Absolutely.
crazy. That
It
is
was the
crazy.
best.
Okay, I mean that's just
It was,
that's,
you're getting it right now.
it's irreplaceable.
So I want to live in that moment.
Yeah, so like when you're doing all these drugs, are you even in your head? Are you addicted to drugs in your head, or is this just
Oh yeah.
whatever?
Yeah, I was always been self-aware at that point. You know what I mean? And yeah, I know I was a druggie.
But it's like you said, you feel untouchable. Nothing can ever happen to me. So
And it's so hard when another thing. There's a lot of excuses, but try doing a 17-day tour or a 28-day tour in Japan. Japan, a lot of times you're doing 10-hour bus rides at night from Osaka to Tokyo or something like that. In Europe, so you will be every night. You go to the show, you go to the airport, and get on a private plane for the whole company. Maybe fly to Germany. Then you get there at like 3 in the morning, 4 in the morning. You go to your hotel. You get up, go to the next building, wrestle, go to the airport, get on a plane, land, go to your hotel, go to the building, and try and work out. The other guys are trying to work out. I just wanted to tan in between that. But imagine trying to do that schedule for 17 days and having to work out too.
No, it's not.
It's unbelievable. It's brutal.
It really is, and I think what the wrestlers go through at times is just not just physically the toll you guys take in the ring, but the mental toll of the travel and the living out of a suitcase and
being away from your family
Being
if
away-
you have kids.
Yeah.
Being away
Let's think
from your
about
kids.
this. Your average baseball, the most that baseball team will travel in a year is 60,000 miles. I've done that in a month, maybe 6 weeks. It's incredible that some of the travel. Like you'll leave Philadelphia, you'll go to Detroit, go to Japan. After Japan, you'll go to Hawaii. Then they'll start you on the West Coast up in Portland or Washington. Work your way San Fran, L.A., San Diego, do Mexico, and then maybe go home for a couple days.
well, if you think about it, and I'm not trying to compare like coffee or Starbucks to like drugs or whatever, but think about people who can't even function their day without having a cup of coffee.
that's me.
Or take a crap.
Or people who, college kids or whoever you are, like, oh, I need to study for 6 hours. I need to take, 3 Adderalls or whatever. And you're not even like doing traveling. You're not even working. You're not. And I'm not trying to compare the drugs with it, but like just think about the human body and what you're trying to do in order to, make
it's-
yourself at 100%. Like,
And work a 20-minute match.
Yeah.
Well, luckily I was smoking mirrors, but these guys felt it. The WrestleMania weekend, these dudes were as dead as I was when we got back Sunday afternoon.
I was dead. I was just hanging out with you
I
guys.
know, and I'm not even, and we're not even the one who has to be on
No.
the whole time.
Yeah, you
and
gotta be
talking to
electric the
people
whole time,
and
Yeah, when I think about like the promotional schedules that like the champion has to do,
Back in the day, forget it.
you are just that is a job in itself, and it's a draining job. One thing else I want to get to when it comes to the drugs and stuff is you mentioned you had multiple doctors you would go to give you prescriptions for these drugs, and I think that kind of speaks to a lot of the opioid crisis that we saw in this country and
That's
still see to
exactly
this
what it
day.
did.
And these doctors writing these scripts, and my mind goes to that town in West Virginia where there was more prescriptions than there were people in the town, right? These doctors pumping these pills to people and knowing the reason that they were taking them. And I'm not saying they bear accountability for your actions. That's a whole different story. But it's just so wrong, and you guys knew the doctors to go to and to get this. It just blows
Well,
my
somebody
mind.
has one.
I remember going with Hack and sitting in these doctors' offices in a waiting room while he's getting. How many was it?
Everyone, 90, 80s, Oxycontin 80s, 110 milligram Percocets, 80 or 92 milligram Xanaxes, and 100 Somas. That was each doctor.
Hack, pardon the pun, but is it a perk for doctors to give out more prescriptions?
Well, yeah, because
Commission.
Because people. This is how I found out about the Percocets. The lady who sells them, who works for the pharmaceutical companies, my youngest son's mom used to do that. So she'd go and say, "Hey, I work for this company. The more you sell this, we give you a kickback."
Right.
And that's why it was getting pushed through. The doctors were making money along the same way, and all the heat wasn't on the drug yet. So in '96, I just happened to be the first guy in the office after one of those pharmaceutical reps. That's what they're called.
Yeah.
She left, and the doctor was doing something. I looked down, and there was this pamphlet, OxyContin, and I started reading it. I had him right. I went from 100 Percocets to 90 OxyContin 40s.
Man.
And then 2 months later, I had that bumped up to 80s.
Jeez.
Yeah, Hack's sitting there like, oh, my head hurt.
Oh my God.
So for
No,
anyone,
you didn't even have to sell a thing. You didn't have to sell a thing. Everybody knew what was going on.
Yeah, it's just
Like Gary had his doctor in Jersey that we all started to go to. Scotty found Dr. Habib in Philly. Somebody else had another doctor in Jersey.
so for anyone who needs any perspective on the opioid crisis, that's just one person getting that many
And that's what
pills.
started it.
yeah, it's terrible, man. It really is terrible. And I know, like, you guys just. The boys are going to try to find these angles too. So, and I
That's
just,
what everybody had a fanny pack for. They were filled with bottles of pills.
oh God, dude, just horrible, man, horrible.
And I was just gonna say, and like honestly, it's like halfway warranted, halfway not, because obviously, like we were talking about putting your bodies through it and shit like that. But like, so it's you actually really needed them at times in order to like sleep and like cure yourself. But like then again, it just gets too addicting to where then you start abusing it.
Yeah, it's awful. The one thing I want to talk about for the episode that was like probably my favorite part of like some of the dark stuff and everything was when Paul Heyman and you realize that you don't need wrestling boots. The look on your face when you said, I don't need wrestling shoes. I've seen your face light up about that when you put things together. That eureka moment for you, Hack, what did that mean for you when you realized, I don't need to do this and I don't need to be like anyone else?
Well, let me realize what Todd Gordon's been telling me. You could just be you out there. This was probably, I don't know, within months of me and Nancy starting our run together with the cigarette, the beer, and stuff like that. But that was at the farmer's market at 5 Points in Montgomery.
Okay. Wow. And you just, it just clicked to you.
That particular one, yeah.
Yeah, one of the things too, I know I've talked to you about this before, but throughout your career, you've always had valets to play off of. Whether it was Nancy, whether it was Lori, Peaches, whether it was Missy, Chastity,
Major Guns.
You always had someone with you to play off of. What did that mean to your career to have all those different people to bounce ideas off of at times?
Great smoke and mirrors. I got a cigarette, I got a beer, I got a gorgeous blonde on my arm. It's just part of the smoke and mirrors of it all.
No wonder you always got so over.
Promoters know this guy's got 3 gimmicks, but I got to give him a girl with big boobs to get him over. Say to Major Guy, I can hear Rob Black say to Major Guns, can you please go out there and get Hack over?
Yeah, seriously.
No, I always thought that it's pretty cool, and your mom was awesome as a performer herself. Like, she was really, really talented and would do all kinds of things in the ring in herself. Like,
she found her own way, and they didn't even show any of the best stuff that she does stuff way better than what they showed.
Might have the greatest spear ever through a table.
oh my God.
Dude,
What a
she
bump.
folds like an accordion, dude.
I know.
Well, I think that when Rhino, they show it in the
pile
episode, pile driver. That was when I won the belt and then lost the belt right after that.
But there's got to be guys in the locker room who wouldn't take that bump. And
No, not in ECW.
okay, well, maybe not in ECW, but in a lot of other locker rooms.
But either
man.
way, like, dude, and whenever you ask,
It's not even a worker.
and I mean, Hack, you can probably attest to this better than I can, but like, every time you brought up a spot to her, she was like, all right.
Yeah, never batted an eye.
Like,
She knew what we were there for.
So
okay.
I have to ask about this stuff too with the Raven angle, and I'm going to ask both of you guys this. Hack, do you have any regrets about involving your family and mixing and blurring those lines of the business and the reality?
No, it was the greatest thing ever. You want to do something that nobody else has done. Here comes my son.
No, I know that. I'm not disagreeing about
And I loved it. I love the idea of, because you hear about the Funk family and the other families, the rest of the Briscoes and stuff, and you envision that in your head.
Yes.
Hey, I can make this a family thing.
Okay, I'm not... As a wrestling fan, as an angle, it was absolutely amazing. And I don't think there's going to be anything that will ever get to that line. But as a father, do you have any about putting your 6-year-old out in the business like that?
No, I loved it.
Okay.
And he was always safe out there, which is one thing I wanted to talk about. When Lori just says he was, and I'm sure she said way more than that, but they brought it down to, well, the Ty was getting coaching in the back.
Yes.
Every time he was out at the ring, somebody was in charge of him. Whether it was Nova, Stevie, Booger Pink and Moron, everybody knew that he would be out of make sure he would be out of danger, and also they would feed him for his spot too.
Okay. Yeah, I know. Like I'm not questioning you as like.
I never know, but I never thought twice about putting my son out there. I thought it was the greatest thing ever.
Even less so about the physical aspect, but like the mental tie. Like you're involved in an angle where, and you heard it watching the documentary, and you can go watch the angle. But when you say you're a drunk, I'm with Raven now, the crowd gasps, and like, do you as a Ty looking back on it have any regrets about being involved or anything like that yourself?
I don't have any regrets. I saw it as that's what we did. Like we were kind of like a wrestling family. Like I considered it, and I actually just thought about this more recently when I was thinking about it, because I never thought about it this way there. But like those families that are like in the circus and it just runs through the fucking whole entire like it sounds fucked up, but like I was being put out there, but like I just thought like that's what I was supposed to do. Like
that's what a wrestling family is. It's a fucking circus.
It really is.
That's where it started.
But like I didn't have any thought as they were like, "Yo, Ty, like this is what you're gonna do, or whatever," and I was like, "Okay,
yeah,
let's go."
Like, the craziness of it all too is when they're like, when they talk about you're up in New York and you find this park to go to, and it's 3:00, 4 in the morning or whatever, and it's raining, and Raven's like, "Oh, we got to record right now," and you get woken up out of the van to do your one line, and you nail it. You always nail all your lines. Like that's just not normal, man. Like,
he's standing on a rock too, but that you won't notice because they didn't pan back much. But he's standing on this big ass boulder on the edge of this boulder when he does that.
Yeah. During while Raven's walking around the whole entire.
Oh yeah, they didn't shot. I forgot that he ended up near you,
dude. It's like almost like a 10-minute promo.
Yeah, that's
he
right.
walks around the entire park going over this, and I am their salvation. That whole thing where he's going, and then I'm just standing there the whole time on the rock, like whatever, and they cut to me, and you hit the line, and you go back to sleep.
Yeah,
Scotty put him over like God yesterday.
Well, no, I mean,
can you blame him?
You were no, you were absolutely tremendous as a performer for your age in that angle, and I loved when you told him, "Don't smile, and you didn't. You had this stone. You can see it in your eyes.
Dude, I had the low eyebrows. I felt like they were almost stuck there for like a year. Like when I did it, like with the low eyebrows. Like, you know what I'm saying? Because like, dude, I was in character. Like I was like, I was not like.
I'm picturing you in like second grade, just like mean mugging your teacher, just with the cold blank.
Throwing up the hands like quote the Raven, bitch. Like what's up?
Yeah, but like, dude, like taking it as far as like even having meeting spots and switching cars and everything. Like
this is
you're
in 1996.
Deep in it.
Yeah, this is like really keeping it kayfabed and stuff like that.
We never left the building together. We would always have like a meeting spot whenever we left the building. We'd always be leaving in separate cars, and then we'd meet up later and do that whole thing.
But that's just the mind for the business, Hack.
Like, got to protect the gimmick, brother.
Yeah.
And the problem was because, dude, fans would follow you.
Yeah.
Fans would like follow you in their cars and shit. You'd have to be like, I mean, it's not like you're in like danger, but like you're trying, like you said, trying to protect the business. You're like, that's what it was. That was kayfabe back then. But
You wouldn't even be able to pull that off today, probably.
No, I don't think so.
No.
And I want to talk a bit about, and we'll get to this in deeper level in a future episode, but the crucifixion angle. I know certain people have issues with it, and certain people don't. I am one who thinks.
Kurt Angle certainly does.
Well, we know Kurt did, but
You suck.
He phonily cared about it because 2 weeks later, Undertaker's on a faux call.
No, it was more like a couple years later, but
Whatever.
still,
6 months.
It was
It's
Six months.
It was in '99. It was a little bit later, but anyway, I'll let you tell it how you want to, Hack.
We all know I have my
It's
ears
his story. He's
to
sticking to it.
exactly what they were.
But what I want to get to is about as a performer, Hack, is, and especially with ECW. ECW was constantly tiptoeing or crossing over that line and finding out where that line is. As a performer and as somebody who does try to come up with segments and things, how do you try to find where that line is, and how close to it do you want to get?
No, I found it. We found it with Ty.
Right.
We found the line. The line was found starting to beat up women. And then next thing you know, Francine's getting power bombed by the pit bulls to a table.
Yeah.
The line was crossed when Shane Douglas threw down the NWA title and declared our title.
Yes, but
That
Religion's
you gotta
different.
Think about how big that is. That was unheard of, never done back in the day. We crossed the line from day one.
right, and that was the company's motto. But I'm more saying about when the crowd instead, you can hear it with heat sometimes with angles, where instead of getting that reaction, you get almost a silence reaction.
Yeah, that's great.
You think it's
Lori
great?
says it. She says if the crowd was like this, I've never heard that in the arena before.
Okay.
Silence is deafening. That's when you got them. You're like, oh, Funk Out of the Box was the same way. They pulled the thing off that people didn't know until he turned. Everybody's like, oh, it's not Sandman. Who is it? The best pop in the world is when you get the, oh, that gasp when you get them right there. But with Tyler, we got them and they stayed there.
Yeah.
They didn't know what to think. With the crucifixion, we got them. We got them to shut up and stay there.
But I don't. We never got to see whether or not it was good business, bad business because of the apology. Like we can never go back and see, but it would be interesting. Had Raven never made that apology, where would it have gone from there?
It wouldn't have mattered because Kurt Angle was going to WWE anyway.
Yeah.
And Paulie certainly didn't care. Paulie got pressured into that. I was right there in the circle when it happened.
Yeah, and I definitely.
By who?
By Shane and Kurt Angle.
Yeah.
We were all in a circle. It was me. To my left was Todd Gordon. Then it was Kurt Angle, Shane, Paulie, Raven. That's what the circle was, and we talked for about 2 minutes. And they decided, I was like, fuck you guys, you're idiots.
And like you as a performer,
I did. I hated it. I made sure everybody knew it.
you stood up for yourself, and Paul didn't have an issue with you doing the angle from the get-go. It was only afterwards. So he
wanted Kurt to come work for him.
He's trying to babyface himself.
Yeah, you
there.
get somebody like Kurt to come work for you.
Yeah, and, as a character too, do you think it took a little bit? And we'll dive into this deep in a later episode too. But do you think it took an edge off of Raven by having to go out there and apologize?
No.
No. Okay.
No, because they knew everybody else. They're like the smart marks or whatever. I don't even like calling them marks because I'm a mark.
Yeah.
I'm a smart mark. But the story got around. I even made sure of it.
Okay.
I disagree with it totally. Scotty disagreed with it.
Yeah.
But even though Raven was like this heel or whatever, he was like that sophisticated, like smart heel. So like that, I don't really think that would have played into it. Like whether the fans thought he would, like, by him apologizing.
I don't know. I just I thought
And it should have been Paul Lee. If anybody was going to go out there and apologize, it should have been Paul Heyman.
the promoter and not the character.
I said that too.
Yeah. Well, I don't disagree with you there.
Don't put the heat on Scotty.
Right.
Could have been his idea, but you cleared it.
You're the boss. The buck stops at you when you're the boss.
Kurt Angle even says it.
Well,
You guys don't tell me it's the main event. You don't even know what's happening. It wasn't the main event actually because there was a match after that.
well, he's totally right. Like that's just Paul trying to
Absolutely.
save face at that point, and I don't blame him because Kurt Angle would have been a big get for you guys at the time. He was coming off an Olympic gold medal.
Yeah, huge get.
It would have been a very big get for the company had he been willing to do business with you
But
guys.
Shane didn't make it any better. He was in a huff because he brought Kurt Angle in. and-
Pittsburgh connection kind of thing and
Yeah,
stuff. And-
yeah. Shane was like aghast.
Well, I think that there are people, and I'm not telling them how to feel about it. If you have deep religious, convictions and stuff, I'm not telling you shouldn't feel that way. If you wanted to be offended by it, that's certainly your prerogative. But
Well, I'm sure you've seen the same thing on HBO. Would
Yeah.
you be offended if that happened in a movie on HBO? Would
No.
you get up and walk out of the theater?
No.
That's how I look at it.
yeah,
This isn't reality, people.
Yeah.
This is a script. It's
Yes.
in a movie. You're not going to walk out of that movie because of that.
I think some
Nobody
people-
would have watched The Passions of Christ if that was the way it was. They would have left in the first 10 minutes.
Not going to walk out of Broadway.
Dude, that's life.
Right.
That's life in general, dude. People pick and choose when they decide they want to be mad about
Yeah,
shit.
and
It's just-
like I said, I think you do find where the line is, wherever that line may be.
Sure.
And I don't know if that was actually a line because we'll never know. It had, they just not apologized for it. But that certainly was another interesting part of the dark side of the ring. Overall, Hacklow, do you think they did your story justice?
Well, to the point of covering a huge angle with my family, absolutely.
Okay. Overall, if you had to say, I know a lot of times when people watch a documentary about themselves or whatever, they might have issues with it, and you were not involved in the production. You did not have a say. You did not have a cut or anything like that.
I had no issues with it. It could the dark dark side of it could have been way worse.
Okay.
Is there a story, an angle, or anything else that you maybe wish they put in?
Well, no, because that's all. Because once you go there, you don't have the rest of their story, so that would be a breakaway of anything that they're doing. So
Well,
it wouldn't fit into there in my head.
Well-
Anything else that I could think of is more of a story of my wrestling career, not an angle that I did with my family.
Well, I don't necessarily know if you had to drop the Chippendale story if that fit the rest of their narrative, but I mean,
I think it did fit their narrative of just saying, this is an insane human being, and this is how we're going to start it, because this is just what it is.
Yeah, one of the best parts was when they asked Van Dam and Sabu about working with me when I'm shit-faced. And both of them were like, yeah, I had no problem.
I know Sabu's like, I would never wrestle anybody drunk. Sandman, no problem.
I asked you this.
I don't want to wrestle him if he isn't drunk. He said that too.
I asked you this last week or 2 weeks ago, I think, or it might not have been on air, but I was like, do people ever have trepidation about working with you? Because if you're going out with somebody and you're involved in a
Yeah,
business,
Cactus did. I never heard him once. He knocked me out.
wait,
Well, that's how I had Cactus was the spot that ended me up in the hospital, Lori.
with the concussion that Todd called
that
you
was
about,
Cactus in the Texas Death Match.
was that with the frying pan?
Yeah.
Oh God,
I never heard him once.
We
Or
need
that,
to-
or
He's
the,
impossible.
No,
that, or the one
when you
where
broke
you
your
were on
neck.
the table.
Yeah, but that was my fault. I thought of
yeah.
that spot and I let my hands go and I
Yeah,
let
you
them
were
go
saying
too
that.
early, or so my feet didn't get over my head and I just plunged right on.
Yeah,
this.
so who was it? Meltzer that said Hack being drunk, he's gonna hurt people. Up yours, bro.
Yeah, wow. I did. Like you said last week, you have not heard.
I got
anybody that you
Sabu
know.
and Van Dam, the guys that have had Sabu maybe 50 matches against, easy. Both of them in tag matches, probably another 20, and then another 20 with me and RVD.
Yeah, look, I wouldn't say wrestlers out there go get loaded before your match.
But cane shots are cane shots. You're gonna have some guys complain about cane shots, but they're pussies.
Okay. Oh.
Yeah.
Watch the way Rhino, when Rhino came up to me in that episode, he knows he has to kill me with that cane.
And he does right from
And it
behind.
hits me right in a great spot too, to let it roll off the top of my head. You don't want to hit me down here, but right there,
Yeah, it's funny whenever you're breaking down the technical aspect of even the hardcore stuff you did, your mind for the business and
It's
that's
safety. It's really safety first.
Yeah.
It really is.
yeah. You're not trying to hurt anybody, but the escalation of hardcore had your body held up, and maybe when you go and look at guys do stuff today, whether it's deathmatch guys or guys taking big bumps. I've seen you wince.
Dude,
Watching.
Hack winces all the time now, and I'm like, what are you talking
You've
about?
taken a Balls Mahoney chair shot.
Yeah, but sometimes when you see some spots and they do it on the apron, you might as well be out on the pavement.
Is that
Yeah.
just old
That
age and
apron
wisdom?
is stiff.
Is that just old age and wisdom now when you watch wrestling? Because I've seen you make that face like Darby Allin will take a bump, and you'll just be like, "Oh my
For who?
god!"
For what? Why?
But you did the same thing. Is that just saying like as an old
Yeah,
timer
but
now?
we
It's
were
like
trendsetters back then. He's not trendsetting anything. Once he trendsetted, you see anybody else following him doing those crazy spots? No. We carved out a niche,
Yeah.
which we're still talking about today, which is relevant.
Or maybe
I had to just throw that in.
listen, man.
or maybe he's paying homage to you guys.
absolutely.
I don't know some of his spots. Well, maybe the New Jacker. I would not do some of the spots that he's done.
Yeah.
Who, Darby?
Yeah, that one what was the one where he went off the ladder when Jeff was laying in between the tables on the glass and everything? No, dude, I ain't doing that
All right,
spot.
what's the difference between that and going from the ladder in the ring to a table outside?
Yeah, you literally did that spot when Fonzie said, "Yo, Daddy, wake up! Yo, Dad, wake up!" When he's slapping you, what's the
you guys can
difference?
see his face right now. He's thinking the wheels in his head are
Got him!
got him.
Well, I don't like the backwards thing, like his backwards thing. You know, that's just not me going down.
I don't like Darby's
spot
spot because
I got to figure out something. I didn't
think of it because I
I
didn't call
think of it first. That's why I hate it.
I love Darby, but I know your point is though. Watching it, it's just like, oh my god, what are you doing? And
You
I
got
think,
to escalate.
but like, do you think now, looking back at what you guys did, do you think it's pushed the business into an unsafe position, or do you have any regrets about that?
No, not at all.
Okay, all right.
Well, business is pretty safe right
It's
now.
the whole reason WWE was ushered into the best era of wrestling there probably was.
yeah.
Their attitude here and everything
Yeah.
came right after
And
us, whatever.
if anything, I think them doing what they did has actually made the business a safer place.
By showing you what not to do.
Well, basically, I mean, you see dudes. There's no such thing as head chair shots anymore. There's no
need. There's no need for that. That's an unnecessary risk to take.
And I feel like that those guys did those things. It made more people aware. Like even if you wanted to try it, like it made them more aware and like, you know, take the necessary precaution. Like you said, like setting up the table properly. Like just shit like that. Like those guys doing it. It made for further entertainment.
Yeah. No, look, man, I love the episode overall. The good, the bad, and the ugly. There certainly was a mixture of all that in it. And, yeah, it was... Look, if you guys haven't watched The Dark Side of the Ring and you happen to be listening to this podcast, which I doubt it, you know, because if you're listening to this podcast, you've watched The Dark Side of the Ring. Watch The Dark Side of the Ring if you have not. I really think they did your career justice, Hack. I think they told your story. I think they did your family justice and told that story as well, which was also super important to tell. So I don't know if you have anything else that you want to add to The Dark Side.
No, I'm good. I'm just going over my notes. I'm good.
Oliver, you watching it? Is there anything that like you? I mean, you've been told the stories.
Not
Probably
really, I
thinking,
mean-
God, Hack was such an athlete back in
No,
the day.
Yo, you were
I know everything. I've seen
I
it
know
all.
you-
I've watched it all.
I know you know.
There was
the
nothing
stories.
new that I saw. Like there was nothing new to me. I mean, it's cool to see on Dark Side of the Ring on Vice, like showing it to the world. Like that's cool about it. But
Yeah.
they didn't tell me anything or show me anything I didn't already know.
All right.
All right. You know what? We don't really have anything else this week because this is what we were here to talk about. But our Sixers are playing tonight in a big game 6. I don't know how you guys are feeling. What was so crazy is because, like, literally that game ended, I want to say, like, 1 minute before the Dark Side started. And I made sure I had my DVR going. But, like, that game was insane on Tuesday night, and then my emotions going from that to then the Dark Side of the Ring was just like insane on Tuesday. So it was a lot to unpack in my head.
Total roller coaster of emotions. It's like you're down 6 with 28.9 seconds left, like that. You're like, well, season's over, and then lo and behold.
Oh, I texted my mom and my dad, and I was like, I think Embiid played his last game as a Sixer, and the next thing you know, here we are. I'm right
So,
back.
you were the jinx the last game, so now you were the reverse jinx.
I was a
on
reverse
this
jinx.
one.
Yeah,
All
I was.
You're growing, Tosh.
I was running him out of town already. So.
Yeah, but did really they just buy us one more game, and then when we're trying to go to bed at 12:30, we're pissed off that we even believed in it that they could win.
I'm crying and going to sleep.
Yeah, in the fetal position underneath the covers.
That will be me tonight, regretting being a sports fan.
I don't see your body getting anywhere near a fetal position, dude. But
Yo, look who's talking over here. One hip McGee is talking over here.
Yeah, you guys should do a $5 bet. Whoever can get in the fetal position first.
I'll have a fetal off with you anytime.
fetal.
Yeah, I will. I'll have a fetal off with you anytime you
We'll be
want.
selling tickets to that later. We'll probably have it
Live
in
on
August.
pay-per-view
You
on TV.
old bag
On
of
the
bones.
beach. they'll think we're Galapagos turtles out there.
Yeah, the thing is, Hack might get in the fetal position. I don't know if he's getting out of the
Yes,
fetal
that is
position.
absolutely the problem.
I can
Yeah,
do
me and
both.
Ty are going to have to pry him apart.
Well, it's going to be like Wizard of Oz Tin Man. You're going to have to...
I could do both, but all right, guys. So
Wait, so what do you think? We causing a Game 7?
yeah, I think
Go
they,
to Game 7,
I
back
think-
to New York.
I think they torture us, and then Saturday it's
Scott
going to be
Foster's in town.
I think we
the
crush them tonight.
extender. The extender.
Yep, the
All right.
extender.
Well, I think I got to say the Knicks win so we don't just totally fucking jinx them.
Okay.
Yeah,
good.
well, go fuck yourself.
Listen, I'm trying to take one for the team
When would
here.
Game 7 be? Let's think about it.
It's Saturday.
night.
Saturday.
Yeah,
God, I'm not on the road.
in New York. So if you guys want to go up to the Garden,
Oh, tickets for that will be like $800.
you'd be
for
on the
nosebleed.
poorhouse just to get in there.
Yeah, I have to sell
you're
my leg for it.
Yeah, your firstborn? Yeah, we'll take that.
Next week we are going to be covering a great ECW event. Definitely one of my favorite names for an ECW show. It Ain't Seinfeld. It Ain't Seinfeld next week on the Sandman podcast. Yeah, it Ain't Seinfeld, a show in Queens that you guys ran. One of my favorite
At the Queen's Lodge?
It's just a show. It sounds like a pay-per-view. Right
No,
now.
it was just a show. It was not a pay-per-view. So
That building was great, Queens. I loved working
you
in
loved
that
it,
building.
and you talked about walking into that building with Missy. You guys were in a strip club across the street.
Well, yeah, but it was on the third floor.
Okay.
So that was a pain in the ass. But the way that I came into the building, when you're going up the stairs, I could have went around the back. I would have had to go from the front of the building all the way around to the back to come through the curtain. So I just went to the front doors.
Is the Queen Lodge the one with the rooftop around the top?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
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 we're
yeah,
literally
balcony?
like right on top.
Yeah, you can hit a leg drop from the fucking
Second level, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, I remember that
It's
building.
so
It was tight.
Yeah, talk about great wrestling venues.
Dude, it was.
Yeah, it was.
I remember that building, man. Like they were on top of you. That thing, like. Whew.
All right, well, that's our topic for next week. It Ain't Seinfeld from Queens ECW show. You were the main event of that show, by the way, Hack. I'm sure you remember.
Big surprise.
I knew you were gonna fucking say that.
Holly probably knows it's coming too.
As always, we have our listener question segment here. If you guys want to ask us a question, we've been getting bombarded in our inbox. Send it into sandmanpod at gmail.com. We will get your question on the air as soon as possible. First up here, this is one of our favorite questioners. They send us questions pretty much every week.
Kevin!
Well, it's not Kevin. We're going to save Kev for the last
Where's
one.
Uncle?
Uncle Howard! That's what it is! There you go. There you go, Uncle Howard.
God, now we're like the Pat McAfee
I was
show.
just gonna say, there's your McAfee hat.
We are not that. No. We're
We're a little cold.
No, we're
We're a little cold.
We are a pirate ship, okay? We are. All right, matey. All right, Uncle Howard. When I was 12, my friend gave me a scoop slam, and it really fucked me up. Could the scoop slam be revitalized as a legitimate finisher? Maybe if a really strong guy puts some serious mustard on it, are there any other basic moves that deserve more respect?
Well, when I was younger, Bruno Sammartino would win a match in Madison Square Garden with a body slam.
With a scoop slam?
Yeah.
So Bruno was on top for 7 years with his first run, and then another 4. So what you're saying to Uncle Howard is, you know the business.
That's exactly what I would say.
Okay. Are
The vanilla scoop slam or the chocolate scoop slam?
there any other basic moves that
The
deserve-
lariat used to be a finisher. When Stan Hansen came in, a clothesline was
Right.
a finisher. You
Okay.
got that. A suplex. A superplex was brought in by Barry Windham even before Kurt Hennig went in and did one or whatever. Or just a regular suplex.
Oh, okay.
That was a finisher back in the day.
Yeah, but so do you think we could have that today in this business? If done right?
Well, yeah, in AEW, as long as you did 47 spots before, you can finish with that.
What about the Neapolitan? Was that a finisher?
No, you know the scoop slam. You know a scoop. You're taking the scoop. You scoop them. It's a little different than a body slam.
Is it?
Yeah, it is. Just
Well, I'm a pro wrestler.
Honestly, if you,
Falcon Arrow, Michinoku driver hack. Do you know the difference of those?
I don't know, if you finish somebody on one finisher nowadays, I'd be shocked.
Yeah. All right. Well, I like the scoop slam as a finisher. Coming in from Armenia, David Kafo. I can't even pronounce his name.
Oh, wow.
It's a.
That, you have
I'm gonna try.
not
Hold
done
on.
your homework.
Kafamazian. I think it's Kafamazian.
Yeah, okay. Sorry, buddy, for torturing your name.
Sorry, buddy, for torturing your name. Hey, guys, big fan of the show. I know Hack is a big fan of golf. And being a big golfer myself, I was wondering, what is the best round of golf Hack has played? What did he shoot? How many birdies did he have? And what's his favorite course to play?
No idea. 94 and Paxton Hollow.
Oh, little Paxton guy. Okay, so maybe we got to play a round of
Best you
Paxton.
shot was at 94?
Like one day.
I've never broken 100.
I thought you would have at least been in the 80s at least once.
No, he's an
Never.
honest guy. He's not.
Never.
Yeah, I like your honesty, Hack.
I haven't
wish.
yet either.
Everybody says.
I've been in the 90s like a couple times now.
Well, most of my life I lived between 100 and 110.
Okay, yeah. So a lot of looking for your ball and a lot of that for you out there. Okay. Next up, listener question. This is another guy who writes in a lot for us. Drummy from Bryan Street Tavern.
Drummy!
Is he still at the tavern?
He-
Like he's been there for a while, I feel like.
He
You
lives
must
at
have a pretty
the
high tab by now.
Yeah, you need help with your tab, give us a call.
it down.
Too many IPAs, I think. My wife gave me the green light to go to a wrestling show. Are you going to be making any appearances in the near future?
I'm horrible with this
He
stuff.
is. No,
We'll check the schedule and we'll get back to
We'll
you.
let you
get
know
back
next
to you.
week.
I don't know
I
if
don't have anything for a couple weeks. so.
Okay, and Drummy also had this other question. I don't know how these are related at all. Also, what is your favorite lunch meat? And how much do you typically pay for a pound of it?
Don't really have a favorite lunch.
These dollars, they're dying laughing right there. You know,
Somebody had to straight face that question.
I tried. I'm trying
He's
to be
definitely been in the
professional.
tavern for a while.
He's
Yo.
asking about lunch meat, yo, dude.
He's in the hand.
dude.
Somebody's bringing him a sandwich.
Yo,
Yeah,
my
go take a
man.
nap.
Yo, my man, don't be asking about another man's meat, dude. Seriously, man. Come on. We don't.
Hey, keep writing it, dude. I love the
We
question. You made me laugh.
We
Yeah,
love you,
Scorpio's not here. We don't have that answer.
Dennis N. from Westchester. Big fan of the pod. I've listened to every episode. Love the dark side on the Sandman. The only disappointment was the lack of your childhood best friend, John Ruben Tremonti, who was supposedly interviewed for the episode. Have you seen any footage of that, or what do you think he would have sounded like? We already kind of touched on that. And
Yeah, we talked all about
he
it.
also had another question. Is there any truth to the rumor that he was going to be your second with the Bong Master gimmick, and that he would do spots like blow smoke in people's face, spray bong water in their eyes, or break glass bongs over people's heads?
Yes, we absolutely talked about it back in the day. We were going to the Spectrum.
Okay, the bong.
I broke one in his car one day.
Mr.
We're
Sandman,
barely out of his driveway.
Mr. Sandman and Bongmaster Flex or whatever.
Oh my god.
That's like Jay and Silent Bob.
Never throw a bong, kid.
Yeah, never.
Was that expensive piece?
I don't know. Here we go. This question is from Clayton Hood. You think the youngin is gonna get to the fucking legend? I'm sorry. He also included a picture of Jake Paul and Mike Tyson. So he's asking for your opinion on the Jake Paul and Mike Tyson fight. I predict Tyson mops the kid up. I bet you $1. Did you pay off your dollar bet from WrestleMania? I love the podcast. No, this guy has yet to pay me that dollar, actually, Hack. You still owe me that buck. We're counting interest.
Okay,
Are you
here
getting
you
your
go.
wallet? Oh, no. This is shoot. He's got change. No.
There you go.
I ain't touching
It's all
that.
pennies.
With interest.
Yeah, no. He literally just paid up on that bet, Clayton, right now. I'm not touching that jar of change. I don't know where that came from.
Jake Paul, Mike Tyson hack. I don't even know if
I
this
don't
is
know.
going
I've
down,
seen
but
a couple of workouts of Tyson sparring and
Dude,
stuff, and I mean, I don't really know Jake Paul as a boxer at all.
Yeah.
I mean, I've seen him fight once, but
you've probably been watching what we've been watching, like just
Yeah,
checking
like
in or
glanced
whatever.
at it here and there, like when you were looking
yeah,
at
but isn't Tyson's got to be 225, right?
He looks big.
I mean,
It's gonna-
Jake's a big dude.
Is he?
Yeah, he's a bigger guy. I mean, Tyson is probably a little heavier just because he's older now. And
Right.
It's going to be a sanctioned heavyweight fight. It's going to be a legit sanctioned fight, too.
yeah, it's going on both of the boxing records.
Yeah, but then they changed they altered the rules of the fight a little. Like it's a sanctioned pro fight, but the rules are kind of altered. I think.
Who knows?
Yeah, they got
Is the way they
20-ounce
did it.
gloves and headgear.
No headgear.
No,
no
there's
headgear.
I thought I heard they
no
were
headgear,
wearing it.
and I think they're going 14-ounce gloves, which is like sparring gloves or like.
Right, I think it's like
Something like that.
semi-altered or whatever it is, but I don't know.
knows?
When I
Tyson
saw
still looks
Tyson-
like an animal.
He does.
So
but when I
you
saw
got a
him,
pick?
No, I don't. Well, I would probably pick whoever was the highest odds. Like, is it like minus
Tyson-
200 plus
Tyson's-
120?
Tyson's an underdog, but I'm not sure the odds, to be honest with you.
Then I'll probably take Tyson.
All right, you're
Just
riding
to have
Tyson.
the underdog to get the odds because I really don't know.
Okay. This question comes from Johnny Smith. He didn't give us a town. Hey, Sandman, big fan of you and the podcast. I'm a huge wrestling fan and fan of wrestling video games and was wondering what you and the boys made off of the original ECW video games, ECW Hardcore Revolution and ECW Anarchy Rules. Hope you're doing well. ECW for fucking ever.
That's a great question.
Can I take a guess?
All right. Well, no.
$0?
Yeah, I was gonna say, put an OK sign up in front of you with your right hand, and you see that circle right there. That's how much.
You mean to tell me Paul Heyman didn't get you guys some money for
No,
something?
But for the 2008 game,
Yeah.
75,000.
Wow.
In WWE.
Yeah,
Yeah,
had to
SmackDown
stand
versus
there.
Raw 2008, for anyone wondering.
Okay, and wow, all right, and also if you're a video game fan, don't forget that the Hack DLC pack is coming out soon for their new WWE 2K game.
Oh, they're pushing it hard after my episode was just the highest rated ever. Just
Yeah,
saying.
oh, it broke it. Yeah, it literally broke Vice. It's James Bond now because it was so
I was going to say the highest rated deleted episode ever.
All right, last up here, as always, is Kevin from Dayton, Ohio. Kevin writes in, Hack, I'm a big fan, obviously, and love you, but I gotta call you out here. Why did you steal RVD's shrooms?
I don't remember it. I don't remember the story.
That's a lack of accountability.
Oh, I'm not saying it didn't happen.
No,
I just don't remember the story.
All right, well, I think
Oh, it definitely happened.
I think you need to make other atonements in your life, Hack, and I think RVD needs to be.
Oh, we
repaid
probably
for-
already settled it. He probably sat me down and said, "Pick a hand."
As far as the mushroom story go, do you have anything to say about the lizard story?
Oh, no. We'll get to that
Okay.
later. I want
That's
to
a
get
little
to that.
tease for the people. All right.
We just tweeted out. Somebody tweeted out a video of that. They did a montage of it. I retweeted. I said it was the best athletic performance on any kind of hallucinogen ever. Better than even Doc Ellis is your match with Sabu.
Wow, and he pitched a no-hitter.
That was better. Even though, listen, the match is terrible, guys. I'm telling you right now.
I sat in the front row with some lady who was shaped kind of like you.
And you were in the match?
I'm like, yes! I swear to God, I sat in the front row
Yo.
for the first 10 minutes.
So you're saying she was a handsome woman? A very handsome woman?
Very handsome
Yeah,
woman.
absolutely. All right.
And nice and soft.
Hack's like, can we start the show already? What's going on here?
Send us your
Did they ring
questions.
the bell?
Send us your questions to sandmanpodcast@gmail.com. And, hold on a second. What's this?
I have one thing.
Okay.
Tosh, quick about the show that we're watching next week. Do you have like a year, a date, so people can
Yeah, I will get that. I
Yeah, I'm begging him to do his job too.
Oh
Todd.
God, shut! I do so much here, man. You know what? If these people don't know,
No, if you said it before, I just didn't hear it the last
It
time.
Ain't Seinfeld, I believe, was in 1997 or 98. I think it was 98 actually.
If it ever even happened.
We'll get it up on the social
No,
media.
Dude, it ain't
Brother.
Seinfeld.
It ain't Seinfeld, man. It's something cool. It's hardcore.
All right, I just want. Yeah,
it's,
we'll
19,
get.
it's 1998.
All right, yeah. When we get that out there, we'll get there too.
It's
You guys on the
1998.
social media,
Yeah.
so you guys can check it out and follow along with us next week.
Yeah, definitely watch the show with us. Give us a review, like, share, review. Send us in your questions. Send us in feedback to both our Twitter and Instagram. Sandman Pod on Twitter and the Sandman Podcast on Instagram. And as always, before we leave here, the cane of the week and the toast of the week. I don't forget. Hack, give us your toast of the week here.
The Sixers are getting both of them. One for blowing the game with Maxey, and anybody on the court could have called the timeout right then and should have.
Game 2, dude. That was like 2 weeks ago. What are we talking
I
about?
know, they were trying to get the timeout and the ref didn't give it to him.
This is his segment.
yes,
Let him
but
do what he
anyway.
wants.
That was the other day. What was that? Last Saturday night or whatever?
We've already.
I just have to bury your cane of the week.
Yeah.
That's all.
Okay.
All right, well, I'm not talking anymore.
Ladies and gentlemen, that is us for the Sandman Podcast. Give us a listen and share the show. We will talk to you next week where we're reviewing It Ain't Seinfeld. Take care.
Much love.
Peace.